Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Versus. Of course, I'm your boy, 100K. And we're in the fifth week, man. We haven't been canceled yet. Like, I'm kind of surprised by that. This is for a lot of you, like, TV fans, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not talking about you casual watchers, like, who just kind of halfway watch TV. I'm talking about people who really, like, get into the storylines. Like, this was going to be a big one, right? So, when we talk about crime shows, right, we talk about, like, the storylines. We talk about the characters, like how well the plot was written, like was it suspenseful, like how predictable. So I kind of try to narrow down like the different ones, right? And obviously the two that sticks to mind is Power. You know what I'm saying, on Stars. If y'all haven't seen that, catch that. You know what I'm saying, catch up. Versus The Wire. So that's what I was gonna dig in today. So without further ado, let's get into it.
There's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there.
Nah, I definitely agree with that shit. Damn, Beretta, man. Fuck. Bro, I know you got bicycle, man, but you gotta think sometimes. Shit. Some of this shit don't even call for. Bro, I was talking to my suckers on the wall. Listen, mirror on the wall. Who the really nigga in it?
The Wire versus Power. Now, seeing as somebody who's a very advocate TV connoisseur, is what I like to call myself. I've watched both of them in very great detail. And first, let's start with Power. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and give they tell it to take. Power is a well-written show. I give them that, like, off the rip. You know what I mean? It's twists and turns, suspenseful. It's Hollywood, New York drama. You know what I'm saying? It's flashy, it's glitz and glam, it's pretty. You know what I'm saying? But like, with that being said, a lot of that shit was kind of too pretty. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking nothing away from the show. I mean, because they was able to build on multiple storylines. It's like they got creative with the way they was recycling the characters, right? And 50 Cent does a really good job of marketing that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it keeps it relevant, keeps it hot. Now, I guess I should have said this at the beginning, for the sake of the argument, right? We're just talking about the original Power series, like, not like all the editions. Like, we're just comparing the original Power season, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? The original Power, not like the Power book to all that. You know what I'm saying? Just original Power versus The Wire. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it kind of can simplify the discussion, right? Now, we'll judge it based on like storyline, obviously, characters, actors, and its overall impact. Like I said, now I can kind of pick back up where I started. Now, it's glitz and glamour, it's pretty, it's sexy, they do a bunch of fucking on Power. I mean, like, do a bunch of fucking, like the actors that fucking played on that shit. I'm quite sure them motherfuckers love that shit. But I get it, because New York, when I think of New York, that shit is one of them type of places, like, that shit's so condensed to, well, if you got it like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how that shit move, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't feel like that shit's sustainable. Like the way they had Ghost. Like, I mean, cause Ghost was in his motherfucker. They should have called that bitch motherfucking Houdini. This nigga doing all kind of magic tricks, like all the type of shit they had to wiggle in and out, him and Tommy, you know what I'm saying? But the way they did it was very, very suspenseful. So you know what I'm saying? It wasn't some shit that was easily figured out. Bunch of twists and turns. They had a lot of star power, a lot of good quality dramatic scenes. I give them that, like, they really put a lot into it. So Power, I mean, I give them their props. But now, I said all of that, got Power out the way first. So I can hit with The Wire. Now, obviously, there's going to be some spoilers if y'all ain't seen these. That's why I wanted to pick just the original Power, because I know that's already been, you know what I'm saying, season over with. And then The Wire has been canceled years ago. Now, The Wire and Power, to me, are similar and opposite all at the same time, right? Let me tell you what I mean by that, right? And it got a lot to do with location, so I don't really put that on the writers. I don't feel like it was like, you know what I'm saying, one copying off the other, or one trying to do too much. Like, this is how I see it. The Wire, the way they did The Wire, the way they, like, really, like, touched on Baltimore, that shit ain't no show. You know what I'm saying? The Wire was able to tap into something with a lot of movie executives, a lot of like series producers and all, what they try to accomplish. That is telling the story and have the person they're telling the story to forget that they're in a story. Like, you know what I'm saying? You get invested into these characters. Like, you get so into it to, like, it's not a show anymore. It's like you hanging out with these motherfuckers. The Wire was done in such a way that there's no glitz and glamour. There's no pretty this and that. They fuck them too, but nowhere near like Power. Like, nowhere near like that. But the reason I don't fault that on the writers necessarily, because it really is like that. Like, New York is bling bling all in your face, all these lights, you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers, like, you know what I'm saying, throwing money everywhere, right? Baltimore and a couple other places, something like that. It's money there, but it's not like that pretty kind of money. It's like, it's that Avon Barksdale type money, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and see, that shit touched on shit that was so, some shit almost be too real. I'm gonna give you an example. I know this kind of getting off topic, but it's like The Sopranos. The reason why you don't hear a lot about The Sopranos and shit, right? Cause that shit was so motherfucking real to us. Like, motherfucker was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Y'all telling too much I've been. It's like, that's some shit that I had researched, man. Like, HBO is knocking them shits like right on the head. It wasn't a lot of dramatization in it. You know what I'm saying? It's like they storylines was so raw. You know what I mean? It was more gritty. Now for me, I could see both sides of the coin. I could see a lot of people seeing The Wire as it's too slow. It takes a little, you know what I'm saying? Because if you ain't really been on that street shit like that, like, the majority of that shit ain't gonna be the glitz and glamour. It ain't gonna be the big time top dogs coming through. Mostly it's gonna be like, you know what I'm saying, nigga Brody. It's gonna be like the nigga, you know what I'm saying, Lil Wallace, like them niggas, you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be like the Avons and the Stringers and all of that shit. Like, you got to build your way up to them niggas. But in Power, you meet Tommy and Ghost them like off the rip. You know what I'm saying? It's like they dive you straight into it. So there are a lot of subtle differences. To me, one of the biggest differences is Power reminds you that it's entertainment. You know what I'm saying? They remind you that it's a television show. The Wire, you really will forget that it's a TV show if you really get into it. Now, with that being said, I can see why people would find that kind of slow, because a lot of that shit is really like going from perspective to perspective. Like, there really is no set star in The Wire. For example, Tommy, Ghost, what's the shit? You know what I'm saying? Miss St. Patrick, you know, all the motherfuckers like Tyreek, like, you know them, like they were stars, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were the number one, you know what I'm saying, like, stars of the show. But when you go to The Wire, who really is the star of The Wire? It's not Avon, you know what I'm saying? It's not Stringer. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Damn, McNulty. It's not the Bunk. You know what I mean? It's like, they give so many different characters, so many different things, that it balances itself out, so there really are no stars. So it's easy for them motherfuckers to kind of like switch in and out. You're not really invested. Now, me personally, when I was watching The Wire, man, oh man, but like I say, I'm a TV connoisseur. Like, I dig into all the storylines. That shit was so well did, right? it shows the whole inner engagements of the whole city, from the top government to the mayor, down to the commissioners, down to like all the like police lieutenants and all that shit, all the way from like the corner boys, all the way up to like the middlemen, all the way up to like, you know what I'm saying, the big time like top dogs. And they did it in such a way that they really like hit it. Now, the dynamic that they was able to touch on hit places that I think Power couldn't hit on because, for example, Tommy and Ghost, those motherfuckers had all kind of issues with each other, back and forth, this and that. But did you really feel like one would kill the other? You know what I'm saying? Like, they, because they spent so much energy and so much shit, like, kind of like, you know what I'm saying, bouncing off each other till you kind of knew like it was never gonna come to that. Now they did have a lot of interesting shit that happened, but the Stringer and Avon relationship, to me, that kind of set The Wire apart from any other show, cause that shit is real as fuck. I can see both sides of that coin. Like, for y'all who haven't seen The Wire, y'all not really gonna understand what I'm talking about. But y'all would definitely, I would suggest you go watch that. For y'all who have, you know exactly what I'm referring to. Is like, them niggas was boys, right? You know what I'm saying? Them niggas came up, them niggas that built up these, they built them towers up, you know what I'm saying? Them niggas got it. Stringer is the motherfucking brains. He trying to do that money thing, you know what I'm saying? He trying to do that shit legit, business wise. Give him that. Avon, as a soldier, came up on that soldier shit, you know what I'm saying? And that territorial shit doesn't always favor the dollar. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than a dollar for Avon. And that shit is more respect and more of the type of work they had to put in to secure them towers. I feel that. Because if you didn't have to bang some heads, you didn't got a few of your heads banged, it's like you want to hold that ground. And like when you get to certain places, that shit is just as valuable as the dope itself. The territory, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit, if this territory got all the motherfuckers who buying it, you feel me? But you can't really get over there to get none of that traffic because them niggas won't let you. That's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So, but the muscle and the artillery was definitely Avon. And I think Stringer's approach was, if y'all seen the other show that I had about Biggie and Tupac, Stringer's approach was more geared to what Diddy was on with the Biggie situation. It is possible to get too focused on making money. And what I mean by that, money is important. Money is going to do a lot of things for you. But there are certain things that money can't do for you. Money won't get you respect. Money is not gonna have motherfuckers looking out for your best interest. Money has nothing to do with you as a person. Like, money is one of those things, it's a tangible object. It doesn't have a soul, doesn't have any type of feelings whatsoever. It's just a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing that is either possessed or not possessed. But respect, loyalty, and like just sure, like, okay, I fuck with this dude, and I'm gonna abide by a certain law, certain rule, not because I'm forced to, but because I respect this dude. That ain't about a dollar. You know what I'm saying? And if y'all follow The Wire, the whole situation with Brother Muzon and all of that, what Stringer fucked up, right, is if that's your boy, and I know he tried, I know y'all, people see y'all can see it, but he tried. If that's your boy, you tell him, but at the end of the day, if he the one that's actually, you know what I'm saying, that's actually his word, he the one got to connect, you got to stand down, man. If he telling you, like, because the whole plot situation was Stringer want to team up with motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? Like, they want to get that product and work together, make money, like, stop all the killing and all that shit. And basically, Avon, I'm like, man, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? No, nigga, we ain't on that. You know what I'm talking about? And it's not necessarily good for business, but I understand where he coming from. It's like, He stand on principle. I'm gonna give you an example of that. Chick-fil-A. And I know y'all probably looking at me like, what does Chick-fil-A have to do with that? Chick-fil-A does not open on Sunday. You know how much money they miss on Sundays? You think they give a fuck? No. The reason why is because they stand on principle. They said they're not open on Sundays. They're not opening on Sundays. That's the end of it. You know what I'm saying? Everything ain't always about fucking money. If it's always about money, a motherfucker can make you do whatever. You know what I'm saying? A bitch can tell you stop right now and do some fucking jumping jacks. Like, if the price is right. Now, y'all might look at that as like a very simple way of putting it. Well, hell yeah, I'll do some jumping jacks if the motherfucking price is right. But the point is, you never let another motherfucker control you monetarily. You know what I'm saying? Because the same way it's given to you, that shit can be took from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that shit. Like, if you got kids, if you got something like significant, like, how much money would you put on that? You know what I'm saying? It ain't always about money. And for people who are so focused on the money, they lose that. Now, for me, just based on their situation, if that's my dog, you know what I'm saying, and he telling me, and I'm pitching the plan to him like, bro, look, man, fuck all that beef shit, man, let's make this money, this and that. If that's my dog, and he like, nah, man, we done put in too much work, fuck them niggas, man, we ain't on that. Even though I know the better idea is to like work with the niggas, if that's my dog and I'm with him, I'm with him. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But you can't be going behind your dog back. That shit string of dead, dog. I hated that nigga for that shit. Like, even every time I see Idris up and down, I be mad at that motherfucker because it's like Avon kept that shit so 100 and Stringer played, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't play with your partner. Like, that nigga trusted you with everything, you know what I'm saying? But the nigga was so, like, awoke. He seen the shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, this nigga going to business classes and all that shit, trying to get all these development deals and all that shit, right? And Avon already knew what time it was because he knew how motherfuckers finesse, you know what I'm saying? Like, all that trying to do business and all that. Avon and them, even though, like I said, I know it's a show, that was that mindset of what Suge them had. Like, see, Suge shit was like, okay, boom. On his phone and on his paper, we gonna talk these legality, you know what I'm saying, these legal terms. Like, we gonna talk in these specific, correct words, punctuations, and all that. But when I see you niggas, you know what I'm saying? When I see you, it's something totally different. And that's how you really get shit done on certain levels. And people gonna look at it like, man, they gonna be like, bruh, I promise you, like, you'll be so surprised if a motherfucker feel like they can take something. And some people that will. Everybody don't be on this, like, follow the rules and all that shit. And the thing about it is even though, yeah, that makes sense for everybody to make money, right? And all that shit, it ain't no respect if it's just all about money. You know what I'm saying? What happened when one nigga become a little more hungry than the other nigga? You know what I'm saying? What happened when some shit go on? Like who's checking who? You know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of what kind of started the series because, like, with the first show, Lions versus Tigers, I was under the impression that it really came down to, like, the biggest of the biggest always win. But that's only one fighter. And just like with this money thing, there's only one fighter, man. There's so much more shit that go into that shit. And from the way they told the story in The Wire, especially like with Avon, then with Marlo, we didn't even touch on Marlo to me. Like that shit to me hit. It's not a show. Like, I consider Power, Breaking Bad, y'all check that out too. I consider those Game of Thrones. I thought Game of Thrones, like, those are some of the greatest shows, like, greatest, like, series that I can really, like, think of, like, off the top of my head, like, because if you really, like, watch them shits go in. But The Wire, for me, The Wire is at the top of my list because The Wire is not a show to me. Now, I will say this, now, towards, like, season 4, season 5, I do feel like they kind of dropped the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? So if there's any nugget that I would throw to Power in that regard, it's like them motherfuckers kept you on the edge of your seat like the whole series. Like, I mean, I give them that. Like, that shit is an action-packed, fast and furious ride. Them bitches don't let you down at all. Like they put you in the car and take you to like from all the way when they was fucking with what's the little Spanish dude, Lobos or some shit like that, all the way up until Tyreek shot Ghost. So they kept you on the edge of your seat. But think about that, like that's not realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody got that much juice or got that much fucking wherewithal to where they save the world every week. You know what I mean? Like at some point, shit, you gonna fucking fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit in The Wire was way more down to earth to me because that last fuck up Stringer did, and like I love the way they like showed the shit because Avon already knew what type it was, and that shit hurt him to his heart. But he knew his dog fucked up. You know what I'm saying? He knew that. Like when Buddy them tried to set up your boy, brother Musal and all that, they had him. You know what I'm saying, with the Omar thing, and Buddy like. It all started by lying to your boy, dog. If y'all really boys, like, if that's really your dude, first of all, if you're a grown ass man and you stand on your principle, you should not be doing anything that you feel like you have to lie by. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you'll be better off just not saying shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it, as a grown ass man, what shit are you doing that you have to lie about? Unless you lying to a bitch about some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause that's some like petty shit. But if that's your dog, y'all niggas done drop bodies together. Y'all niggas done caught work together. Y'all niggas done did all of this. And the nigga listening to you now, he really listening to what you're saying, taking it with you know what I'm saying, consideration, and he telling you like, no, like I feel like you can't try to go against that, right? Cause a nigga that done been on that for so long and he ain't blinded by money. A lot of people get blinded by this fucking money, man. And that's why I say like, if you really think about it, look at like animals in the wild. They don't give a fuck about money. You know what I'm saying? That shit is survival. It's I have what I need or I don't. You know what I'm saying? Money comes with a lot of wants and shit you think you need. You know what I'm saying? But the way that you establish that is territory and respect. And money don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people get so focused on money till they lose that. And Wire, to me, did a very good job of illustrating that. So to sum up, because I know like I was giving Power the credit for like the way their show looked, like the way it actually like, cause that shit is good. Now, I'm not saying Power is not good. I'm just saying that The Wire is up here. Then the Power, I would say this now. If you take The Wire out this equation, then Power and the Power franchise probably would be like the best show next to it. But The Wire, I don't even consider The Wire a show. The Wire is the blueprint. The Wire is what started all that shit. You know what I'm saying? You won't have none of that crime shit if it wasn't for The Wire. If it wasn't for Avon, Marlo, and fucking Stringer, and fucking Omar, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't for them niggas, dog, like them shows with Ghost and Tommy and all that shit, dog, come on, man. So if y'all haven't seen it, I say y'all go see The Wire and go watch fucking Power. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But for me, if it's The Wire versus Power, it's really not close. Like, I mean, I just know a lot of people fuck with Power, and I know a lot of people hadn't really seen The Wire. But like that versus really wasn't even a close versus because The Wire, that shit ain't no show. That shit is Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm gonna see y'all next week, man, on another edition of Versus, like S.S.B.G Network. Appreciate y'all fucking with us. Yeah.